Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ryan Clifton Bolin. What I want to talk about today is the very important subject of voting. We all understand the importance of voting. We all understand what voting contributes to. We all understand the privileges and the benefits of voting in American society. But I just wanted to talk about how that I believe personally that it's more than just voting. In the black community years ago, and I think they still do it now, it's always this idea of get out and vote, get out and vote, get out and vote. Like that's something that was new because so many blacks weren't really voting at one point. So then this is during the time of when former President Barack Obama was running. This idea of getting out and voting, get out and vote, get out and vote, get out and vote was pushed and promoted and pronged among black people like crazy. And clearly it was to get, Obama in office as being the first black president. Forget about policies. Policies doesn't matter. It's all about getting the first black president in office. So this idea of voting was pushed and pushed and pushed among the black community, and as if it was some new thing. And no one paid attention to policies. No one paid attention to what really mattered. Now, the purpose of this video is not to attack Barack Obama, former President Barack Obama. Because during the time, I won't say attack, I say criticize. Because during the time of the promotion of Obama and his campaigning, I was just as excited as everyone else was. We got the first black president in office, and I was just really ecstatic. I mean, here was this articulate, African, black man. It's articulate. He's smooth. He has swagger. He has charisma. I mean, you know what I mean? He was like him and Michelle Obama was like the white Kennedys, I guess, the black Kennedys, I guess, you know what I'm saying? It was like, wow, they looked like royalty. That was the mindset I had at the time. And, but at the time I was not even remotely involved in politics. I could have cared less, but in my heart, knowing what I had been knowing about globalism, the little bit that I had been knowing about globalism, I had read some information on it, but I hadn't really dig deep. But things I heard about globalism and so forth, and what is called the New World Order, and although I'm not going to talk about that too much on this channel, that's more or less you go on my other channel, which is Studying the Bible with Brother Bolin. That's my religious channel. If you want to understand about the New World Order, go on that channel. But I was hearing some things about it, so I wasn't really digging in, and I was more or less focused on the fact that we had the first black president in office. Now, I didn't vote. I didn't get a chance to vote for him, from what I can remember. I don't even remember. But I wasn't remotely involved in politics or any of that matter. I was just excited that we had the first black president. And millions of black people all over the country were excited as well as white people. Excited that we had put this man in office, theoretically, through our votes on both the whites and the blacks. We was happy. Our votes did it. But nor what I know now, no one paid attention to policies. Policies is what dictates the course of the country, whether it's on a local level, if you're voting locally in your city, if you're voting for a mayor, if you're voting for a governor, whatever the case may be, the policies of that particular leader is what matters the most. It is not the race. It's not the gender. It's the policies, because the policies is what dictate the course of the city, the state, and the country. And just what if the policies of this particular leader on the local, state, and federal level is the most nefarious policies in all of human history? Then guess what? The votes of millions of Americans have helped put this person in office. So it would be sad, I'm just giving my opinion on this, it would be a sad day to look back at our country in history and say, man, I remember when we had the freedom of religion. We could worship the way we want to worship in our church. We didn't have to turn our sermons over to the government so that they can analyze and see what we shouldn't be preaching and what we should be preaching inside our church. I remember when we had the freedoms of guns. You know, we could protect ourselves in our own homes. I remember we had that freedom to protect ourselves in our own, but now we have to look to the government and we have to hope and pray that the police will come by in time to protect us from the intruders that intruded our home. Hopefully they'll come in time to protect us before we get murdered. I remember a time when we had, excuse me, when we had freedom of speech and the freedom of the press. We could express our opinions on YouTube. We could express our opinions on Facebook to some extent. We still was free. We wasn't like China or any of these other communist countries. I remember those days. I just remember those days, man, when we had freedom to be an entrepreneur. If we wanted to create a business, we could create a business and not have to look to the government and report to the government every single time we made some income. And give half of, if not all of our income to the government. And then the government say, okay, this is what y'all going to get, but we're going to get all of this. I remember those days. You know, you may say, what's your point, sir? I think you get what I'm trying to say. Okay. Policies is what matters. And I think that a lot of people, whether they're on the left or the right, vote based merely on party lines. Well, I'm a Republican. And I've been a Republican all my life, and I'm not going to change. And I was born a Republican, so to speak, and I died Republican. I'm going to vote Republican. Forget about policies. Forget about whether or not these policies will destroy nuclear families. Forget about whether or not these policies will destroy the sovereignty of America. Forget about whether or not these policies from this so-called Republican, okay, will destroy freedom of speech, or the right to bear arms, or the right to worship the way you want to worship inside your particular church or mosque or whatever. Forget about all of that. I'm just going to vote Republican. I don't worry about policies. Policies don't matter to me. I go by what I feel, and right now I feel like voting for this person because they're so charismatic. I like how they put their words together and stir up the crowd in their rallies. I love it. Oh, it's just so exciting. My God. Let me put on my hats and my clothes to represent. Or Democrat. I don't care about policies. All I'm concerned about is getting free this, free that, free whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Give me my free education. Give me my free subsidized housing. That way I don't have to worry if I lose my job or whatever. I don't have to worry. I got a home. I got a place to stay. I got food stamps coming in. No offense to people who are on welfare. I was on welfare twice, but you get my drift. I get these food stamps. I'm getting all these privileges and benefits. The government taking care of me. I don't care. I don't care about the freedom of speech. I'll give up the freedom of speech. I don't care about the freedom of religion. Yes, I go to church. I've been saved and know Jesus Christ, my personal Lord and Savior, but I don't care about reading the Bible inside my church. I don't care about the preacher preaching about what he believes God gave him and he has to give it over to the government because the government is telling him you shouldn't teach about sin, you shouldn't teach about Bible prophecy. I don't care about that. As long as you give me my subsidized housing, my food stamps, and free education, and free this and free that, that's all I worry about. I'm Democrat. I'm liberal. I was born a liberal. I was born a Democrat. I'll die a Democrat. Can I say that if this country goes under and ends up no different than any of the other countries, but ends up merging with some North American Union, which is actually the merging of America, Mexico, and Canada. Yes, it's called the North American Union, the merging of America, Canada, and Mexico. That's what this border situation is really all about, according to some researchers. That's what that's all about, because the purpose is to tear down the sovereignty of America so that they can unite us together into a union and then merge us with the United Nations. And then America becomes no different than any other country. People will not flock over here to America. Why? It's no different than Mexico, no different than Canada, no different than Russia, no different than these other countries. Why flock over here? Could something like that happen simply because people, whether they're on the left or the right, simply vote based off of emotions, vote based off of party lines, and not vote based off of policies? If that happens, in my opinion, we are the culprits, because we did not vote with education. We did not vote with knowledge. We voted based on feelings and emotions. Regardless of what the facts said, we're going to do what we're going to do. Think about that. There's no such thing as politics is over here and my life is over here. I hear people say that all the time. I don't agree with that. Because what happens on a local level, state level, and federal level, the decisions they make affects all of us. And if we just willy-nilly with our votes based on emotions, it will come down to us and it will affect us. It will, guarantee you. We are the source of our own destruction, in my opinion. So it's time for people to start being more educated, the way I see it, in their voting. So I'm going to end this video with this. Don't vote just on how you feel. Educate yourself on policies and see if they line up with what you personally value. And then vote. So that's all I wanted to say about this. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, share this video, and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again.